Alignment of head, heart, and hands. What does alignment mean? Let's look at it from the lens of neuroscience, which talks of three different brains from the ancient wisdom and a simple technique that we can use to start aligning our three brains. Hi, this is Nirmala Shekhar, a coach and a body talk practitioner, and we are currently exploring our spiritual needs in a map of self care. The need for alignment. We have all faced a situation where we are working with a group of people, many of whom are leaders, visionaries, great thinkers, very resourceful people, and one of these three different situations can take place. Hundreds of discussions exploring all possibilities and little or no action. Secondly, one person takes over the discussion and then steers the discussion towards his or her own area of interest and steering all action again in that area. And when that happens, others may lose interest, and this person who took on a key role may end up shouldering a lot of the work or the burden. And the last situation where everybody is working in sync, contributing their ideas, their creativity towards a common goal. And we all know that this final situation is one of alignment. But what about the first two? Within us, we have multiple intelligences. Each of those intelligences is a leader and can contribute in different ways. And what we need to do is to get all these different intelligences within us in alignment. And when we are able to bring them in alignment, everybody is in sync and contributing to a common goal. And when that doesn't happen, what happens is one of our intelligences takes over and then steers our entire efforts towards their area of expertise. And it ends up that they are shouldering all the burden, and the rest of our intelligences are taking a very low profile, not interested, or even not being confident of expressing themselves. So, alignment is about understanding our different intelligences, our different capabilities, and then bringing them all in sync so that as a whole unit, we are moving in the same direction. So, what are these different intelligences that we have within us that we need to align? Let's start with the three brains. In our school textbooks, and even today in medical textbooks, we only talk of one brain, which is in our head. But current scientific understanding is that we have three different brains. We have the head brain, we have the heart brain, and then we have the gut brain. What I'm sharing here is from this book, M-Braining, using your multiple brains to do cool stuff, as well as what I have learned from my body talk courses and using that information in my body talk sessions. So let's look at these three brains. The head brain, we all know, is responsible for thinking, for reasoning, for logical thinking, as well as making meaning of what we see. So when we see different things, the way we are able to connect the dots and make meaning of what we are seeing, that is a function of the head brain. It's also responsible for creativity. When we look at the heart brain, we all can understand that it is the domain of emotions. It's our emotional intelligence, being aware of our own emotions and understanding it, as well as being aware of others' emotions and adjusting our actions in respect of others' emotions. Connection with people, our own dreams, goals, desires, love, all of that is the domain of the heart brain. Its highest expression, though, is in the form of compassion, compassion to ourselves and compassion to others, as well as intuition, and most importantly, our values. They are all the domain of the heart brain. When we look at the gut brain is responsible for self preservation. When we talk of gut instinct, that is the one that keeps us safe in many a situation. 80% of our immune cells are to be found in the gut. So we can understand why the gut brain is also responsible for our self preservation. It's also responsible for our core identity, us understanding who we are and what we need to do. All of that is the domain of the gut brain. It's also responsible for our actions. Actions in the form of instincts, in the form of habits. All of that would be the domain of the gut brain. And its highest expression is in the form of courage. So when we understand that we have a head brain, the heart brain, and the gut brain, then we begin to understand that each one has its own area of specialization that is unique to it. But taking the example from the previous segment where we talked about one person steering the discussion, very often our head brain takes on that role and steers all discussion in the area of logic, in the area of reasoning, in the area of trying to find meaning and ignoring the presence of the heart's intelligence, the intelligence of emotions, the intelligence of intuition, the intelligence of compassion, and the gut's intelligence, that of identity, that of self preservation, that of courage. All of those get compromised when the head brain goes into a thinking mode. And that can often lead to repetitive thoughts and just ruminating a lot on just giving importance to our head. And when we look at it from this aspect, then we realize how important alignment is to ourselves. If you found the discussion of that three brains very interesting, here's some extra material for you to explore. 1907, Byron Robinson wrote the book The Abdominal and the Pelvic Brain. And Dr. Michael Gershon wrote The Second Brain, Your Gut Has a Mind of Its Own. In 1991, Dr. Andrew Armour put together the work on proving that the heart is a brain. And the Institute of Heart Math has put together a lot of research and put together books that explore the intelligence of the heart. Some of those are Heart Intelligence, Connecting with the Intuitive Guidance of the Heart, and Science of the Heart. Other books for you to look at, Three Brains, Karen Jensen, and Embraining, Using Your Multiple Brains to Do Cool Stuff. Neuroscience rediscovers ancient wisdom. Currently, neuroscience has talked about three brains with three different and distinct forms of intelligence. And this is something known to our ancient ancestors. In TCM, we talk of the triple warmer or the triple burner meridian and radian circuit. And what that does is explores the body through the upper burner, which is diaphragm upwards, our heart, lungs, and the head brain. And the middle burner is below the diaphragm till the navel, includes all the organs there. And the lower burner is from the navel below, includes all the organs there. If you look at the ancient Indian tradition, it talks of the chakras, currently the major chakras, 6 major chakras plus the one at the crown. And each of those chakras are areas of intelligences, awareness, consciousness, and a storehouse of the memories in those areas. So this is something known to our ancient ancestors. And when we talk of alignment, and both the traditions talk of aligning the different burners or the different gifts of the chakras into one whole. So alignment can be explored from different lenses, different prisms, And it will all lead to the same goal, that is one of congruence, one of alignment, where all aspects of our personality, of our being, are working in one whole unified way. Aligning our three brains. Talking of the multiple intelligences or multiple levels of awareness and consciousness is good, but what do we do in practice? In body talk, we always look to tapping the three brains, our head brain, our heart brain, and then tapping our navel area, the gut brain, to bring the intelligence of the three brains to work on a particular area that we are focusing on. In practice, you can also use this method of starting to harness the intelligence of each part of our brains. We start with the heart brain. Why do we start from there? Because that is the seat of compassion, that is the seat of our intuition, and also of our values. Our inner wisdom is linked to all these three. So we start with the heart, and if we have to think about a particular problem or a particular course of action that we want to find a solution for, start with the heart, the guidance of the heart. This is not just emotion, but it's much more deeper than that because of the values, the intuition, and compassion. So we start with the heart, stay there, and if it helps putting our hands on the heart, it helps, then use that. Stay with the heart for a while and see where the heart is guiding you to take action. And with that knowledge, with that information, we then move to the head and use the reasoning power of the head, use the ability to make sense, make meaning of what is coming up through the heart, and then use the creativity of the head to see, okay, this is what the heart is saying, but this is the situation. How can I find a creative solution? So start with the heart, go to the intelligence of the head, come back to the heart. And that come back exercise is important because that then aligns the head and the heart. So we stay there with this alignment between the head and the heart. And then we move to our gut brain. Our gut brain is the seat of our preservation. It's also the seat of courage. So tapping into the courage of the gut brain in case we have to take some steps out of our comfort zone, that courage comes in handy. It's also the seat of our habits or instincts. And if some of those need to be changed, that courage and the alignment of the head and the heart will allow the gut to make the necessary shifts in our habits and instincts. And together with all of that, we come back to the heart. So we have sort of done a eight. Start from here, move to the head, come back here, then go down to the gut and come back here. So it's sort of like a figure eight where we have tapping and using the alignment of the three intelligences, the three brains, to help us in taking whatever action that we need to take. Try this and let me know how it resonates with you. I would love to hear your feedback and your ideas for alignment. Thank you for joining me. This is Nirmala Shekhar signing off. Bye bye. Namaste. Do subscribe and hit the bell button for more weekly content on self care. And if you want even more actionable content on self care, do join me in the Facebook group for weekly lives, discussions, and more tips.